Honey, 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 honey. Honey, 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 honey. Honey.
You like honey, huh?
I love honey.
Well, have I got a thing for you.
Great.
Do you also like to plant things?
I do. How did you know?
Just a guess. Well, I have a project for you that has to do with honey, and it has to do with Winnie the Pooh.
What? I love Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and a lot of monkeys do.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't? He's great. He's a lovable, silly, willy-nilly little bear.
Yeah, you said that right.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, let's do the project. Do you want to sit over there and watch?
I would love to, because I don't do projects anymore. I just watch them.
It's more fun, huh?
Well, I don't know, but it's what I like to do. I've got these mittens. It's hard to do things with them.
That's true. It is hard to do things with your mittens. Okay, sit on over there. And we are going to get to work. So today, we have some kind of special ingredients for our project. And if you don't have these things, you can improvise with what you do have. But we are going to use paint. This is acrylic paint. Acrylic paint works best for this project. Again, if you don't have it, you can use what you do have. But acrylic paint does work best. We also have a marker. We have a little pot. You can do a big pot. It doesn't matter the size. I just had this handy. Make sure the sides of it are very clean. It doesn't have to be super clean on the inside, but it does have to be really clean on the outside. And a little dish or tray to put the paint on. This is an old hummus lid, and I like to reuse things. Y'all know that. So I use lids like these, and I use containers like these to keep my paints in. And as you can see, some of these are dried paints, so that's fine. That's not going to affect anything. We're going to put our paint on here. We also need a brush. We also need a little bit of water. So we're using yellow and white paint. Now, honey is yellow, but when you just have yellow in acrylic, it's something called pigment. That's what makes the color the color. The yellow pigment is like, I don't know if it's weak or what it is, but it doesn't show up unless you put like a million layers. If you mix it with white, it shows up better. I don't know why. I don't know how. It just does. My face is very shiny. Whatever. It's just how it is. All right. Yellow pigment doesn't show up and my face shows up really shiny. That's okay. All right, so we've got our lid. We're going to put a little bit. It doesn't take a lot. Just a little bit of white on the lid. A little more than that. There we go. About that. Whoa, can't see it. About that much is what I just did. Okay. Close that lid because it'll dry otherwise. I don't want dry paint. It's really sad. When you go to paint something and you pick out one of your paints and then you find out it's dry. Oh, it's so sad. Okay, yellow. We're going to put it right on top of that white. Boop. All right. Now, we can take our brush and take some water. And we're literally just going to kind of like scoop and like do that onto it. Let me see if I can. Here we go. All right, we're scoop and we do that. We scoop and do that just to get a little bit of water on there. Because it's easier to paint with acrylics when they're wet. The wetter the better for acrylic paints. Okay, now we're going to mix all that up so the white mixes in with the yellow really, really well. See it mixing up. Kind of. That light is bright, man. All right. Oh, we're getting some of those old colors in there, but that's okay. So, you know what? Use a clean lid, but this is fine. Okay. That actually kind of makes it a cool color anyways. Be all right. Okay. So we've got our color all mixed up. Ah, I need it to show up. That's such a bright light. Maybe if I move this guy. Ooh. Nope. Okay, well, this is our yellow. I don't know why it's not showing up. Now, the fun thing is, I'm just using like a square brush. You can use whatever brush you want. This is the fun part. All you're going to do is squiggles. So you just kind of come down and then back up. And then down and up. And down and up. Like that. This is kind of hard to do because it's got all these edges, but we're making it work. It's all right. And then down and up. Oh, these edges. All right, and then down and up. And looks like one more down and up. And try to vary them so that they're not all the same size. Okay? So see how they're not all the same? They kind of go and then shorter and then taller. So now we're going to fill this in with paint, just the upper parts. Okay? I'm going to fill those in. Make sure all this is rounded off. Okay. Get some more paint. Keep filling it in. Make sure it looks even. So if it goes down here, it needs to go down the same way here and here over those ridges. Thick paint. It's already drying so fast. That's the great thing about this clay pot. Now you can do it with some other type of pot, but a clay pot is going to suck in all of the moisture and water from the paint really quickly. And it's going to dry very fast. And sometimes we don't want our paint to dry fast if we're trying to blend or something. But in this case, we want it to dry fast because we want to do a couple of coats. And coats in painting means the amount of times that you do something, the amount of times that you paint over it. So this is our first coat. So there's only one coat of paint right here. Whereas here, this is two. So see how paint's more thick here than it is here. Because this is the first coat. This is the second coat. So you can see it a little better. Sorry about the lights. They're not making this show up the way I want it to, but we do what we can with what we have. Am I right?
You're right.
Thank you, Frederick. Okay, here we go. We got more. A little bit more down here. And it's supposed to be wobbly. It's not supposed to look perfect because this is supposed to look like honey is dripping down a pot. And the pot is the pot of honey that you gave to Mr. Winnie the Pooh for his birthday. All right, so we're just going to keep putting yellow coats of paint on here until it looks really solid. And we're going to try to make it so that you can't see those brush strokes. The brush strokes are exactly what they sound like. They're the strokes of the brush. So every time you do this, that's a stroke. So when you can see the individual brush marks, we don't like that as much. And the way to not see them is to have really thick amounts of paint and to really go over it like I just did with that part. And then you can't see them as much. Also, if you go over something really lightly, sometimes it gets rid of those brush strokes. Another good thing about acrylic paint is it washes off your skin very easily. However, it does not wash off of your clothes very easily or at all. So be careful to not get it on your clothes. But if you get it on your skin, like I did a lot, it'll wash right off. But I'm not going to go like this and mark up my shirt because it will not come off. Okay. So I think for our purposes, that is enough. So I'm going to put my brush into water so that it doesn't stick on the brush. And then what I'll do after this is dry, and I'm going to show you kind of right here because it is dry right here, is I'm going to mark around the honey like this with my marker. And I'm going to do that around the whole pot so that it's outlined. See how right here it's outlined and right here a little bit? So I'm going to do that all the way around the honey, just to make it look even more cartoony and really stick out, okay? So we've got that, and then, so that everybody knows it's honey, I'm going to write right here, honey, but I'm going to spell it the way they do on Winnie the Pooh, which is always just wrong. Usually you would spell honey H-O-N-E-Y. For this, we're going to do H-U-N-N-Y. There we go. Honey. Right? So once this is dry, I'm going to go around the whole thing with the marker. You will see the final product because we're going to use this for another project later on. And it's going to be great. I'm going to put the lid on this marker. And I think I'm going to call it a wrap. Frederick, how'd you feel about that?
You know what? I really liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Can I use that pot?
You can if you use it for what I think you're going to use it for, but we'll talk about it later when they're not here.
Deal.
Deal. Okay, everybody, have a good time. Wash your paws. Wash all that honey off your paws. Remember that it's not honey and don't lick your paws. And stay safe and healthy, and
we love you.
We sure do. Everybody, have a great night. Bye-bye.